Prairie Crossing describes itself as a conservation community, and both of those words have been really critical to our development.
Prairie Crossing is a new idea in community. It's a 676-acre, ecologically sound housing development, over half of which is open space.
What we've tried to do at Prairie Crossing is to create the opportunity for people to come together around the caring of that land, where the act of living in that environment can actually restore land. What was corn and soybeans with very little biodiversity, with problems of stormwater. And now you have an area where the plantings that you see around the lake actually absorb and manage that rainwater in such a way that it actually is an asset to the community, both the ecological community and the human community.
As part of their green lifestyle, Prairie Crossing residents have easy access to trains to downtown Chicago and to O'Hare Airport.
One of our great successes at Prairie Crossing has been to get Metra to build 2 train stations immediately adjacent to the community on existing train lines.
The Prairie Crossing development also includes a farm, Sandhill Organics.
We grow vegetables and cut flowers on 40 acres here at the Prairie Crossing farm.
Peg and Matt Schaefer moved from Wisconsin to run the farm on the property.
The face of agriculture is really changing. It's really no longer what kids see in storybooks. And so I think it's good for kids and adults to see, really what's going on in agriculture today.
Schaefer provides the residents with locally grown organic produce.
We have customers literally that are just down the street here in this neighborhood, and so it's really neat to have that connection, to really live among our customers. When we were farming in Wisconsin, our customers were way over there and we were way over here, and the only time we came together was when we actually made that delivery.
Having the farm on the property eliminates the need for transporting goods and cuts down on the Prairie Crossing residents' carbon footprint.
There are green things and sustainable things happening in the suburbs. So often the suburbs get bashed, and I think that this is a good example of how life doesn't have to be so black and white.
At Friends of Ryerson Woods, we have a lot of programs that celebrate this site and the inspiration that this site can provide to various audiences. But we also have a broader mission, which is to build an environmental ethic throughout the community. And we think of community as Lake County-wide, even regionally. The Board of Directors of Friends of Ryerson Woods decided that one of the niches that they would like to focus on for the future of this organization is to really celebrate the intersection of art and nature. We have an art exhibition up right now by Sue Summers, some prairie watercolors, and this is a room with fish. And then we also have a structure here by Tor Faegre. In order to bring new audiences to a very special place like Ryerson, we thought focusing on art, we could do poetry readings, art exhibitions, all things that relate to the artist being inspired by nature or having something to say about nature.
The art lovers who visit Ryerson Woods galleries get an intimate look at how nature has inspired artists.
The face of Lake County is rapidly changing. It's not the same as it was 20 years ago or 50 years ago. We're really hoping to develop partnerships and a dialogue with the growing communities within the county. One of those, most obviously, is the Latino community.
Each fall, Friends of Ryerson Woods, in partnership with the Lake County Forest Preserves, hosts a youth environmental symposium. They invite Lake County High School students to Ryerson Woods for a day of intensive, interactive environmental learning. Engaging Lake County's diverse residents with nature sows the seeds of innovation in conservation and community.
We do a lot of programs about nature, but we always tie in the human aspect of it whenever we can, because that belief is there that the humans are such an important part of the environment and how it's formed and used. The way the land is today is a result of people and their interaction with the land, and that includes how it's been used as well as how it's been saved. And so as we move forward with the vision in the area, the region, we need to consider what people need, what keeps them healthy, how they use the land, but we also have to think about what the land gives back to the people. Hike Lake County is a program that the Lake County Forest Preserve District has done for the last 9 years. This program is a way for us to get people out into the preserves, hiking in a friendly environment and a safe environment.
From our perspective, any exercise is good exercise, and especially with children. Childhood obesity is an epidemic in this country, and it's something that we're trying to address, and this program supports it. We're interested in more than just managing disease, but trying to prevent it in the first place. And healthy lifestyle is exactly what we're after with that type of support.
And hiking is such an easy thing for somebody to do.
Absolutely, and they can do it with their family, they can do it with their pet.
This year we expanded the program with the Lake Forest Hospital offering a physical therapy session for the walkers. Can you tell us about that program?
I think it's a very innovative and important program for anybody that's interested in walking. It involves lessons on basic foot care.
The program has 12 different hikes designated throughout the county, and the idea is to hike at least 7 of them. If you complete the 7 hikes, you can earn a little shield. There are over 1,000 people that have participated in the program earning the shield, coming and getting it, and we know that that's just really the baseline for the number of people that have participated over the years.
I think we lose sight sometimes of the treasure that we have here because we see it all the time and we don't really realize the uniqueness of our areas.
When restoration began here in the 1980s, this land that was once lush, sunny prairie was almost completely shaded by encroaching invasive brush. Volunteers from the North Branch Restoration Project worked with the Cook County Forest Preserve District, and Somme Prairie was reborn. By cutting out invasive plants, reintroducing fire, and by collecting and distributing seed, dedicated stewards are saving this natural wonder for all to enjoy.
In Chicago, we have the greatest urban wilderness of any urban area in the world. There's no other urban area that has the preservation, the conservation, and the restoration of the natural areas that we are doing here in Chicago. And this is the result of the concept of ecological restoration originating here.
Coming from a setting from the penitentiary, when you get into something like that, it gives you time to sit back and think. So a lot of my planning was done in the yard over there.
St. Leonard's House uses nature to meet a difficult challenge. They've created a natural urban landscape where ex-offenders can put down new roots into society.
And I got here in the summertime, so it was just at a point like in August to the point where everything is green and the flowers are out. Coming from a setting that is just bricks and mortar, it was relaxing. You didn't have 500 other individuals walking around, and just to see how the setting was out here, it was just comforting to me to say, wow, I'm free.
Illinois farming has been mostly agribusiness of corn and soybeans. But a new day for local farming is about to break. The Illinois Food Farms and Jobs Act and the Talking Farm are trying to move Illinois farmers from growing commodities to growing food.
Our nonprofit status is an educational mission, and so that means we want to talk to people and we want to communicate to people. So somebody in the board said, the Talking Farm, and then somebody else immediately said, the farm that has something to say. And everybody said, yes, that's it. Some renewable energy.
Jim Brown and Debbie Hillman are sowing the seeds for a new way to put food production back into the hands of local farmers.
Food connects to our pleasure, to community, to family, to just enjoyment of life. And so we decided we wanted to work in that issue. I would say the first thing that anybody can do, and it's free, and it's not really hard, is just to start thinking. To think about where all of your resources come from. Where does the food come from? Who produces it? How is it produced? And to think about that the earth is the source of all the things that we have. If we organize society and we make all of our decisions, our policy decisions around food, and making sure everybody has access to food and that it's healthy and fresh, then everything else will fall in place. We think, a lot of the environmental issues will be solved. Certainly, we will not be using as much energy. We won't need the transportation because, by definition, healthier, fresher food is grown where as close to home, as close to where it's being purchased.
When you go into the grocery store the next time and you look at that great layout in there and all that food, look at all those items and realize that each one of those items have traveled an average of 1,500 miles. The Illinois Local Food and Farms Coalition began about a year and a half ago with a vision with Jim Slama, Debbie Hillman, and myself to create an Illinois-based food system. And we began putting together the concepts to create this idea, take it down to the Illinois legislature, and get the state of Illinois to back this concept.
Our state representative, Julie Hamas, was very receptive to these ideas. She didn't really understand them at first because, like most urban people, she goes to the grocery stores in Evanston and sees the shelves filled with food. What's the problem here? But she does know about global warming. She knows about environmental issues. She knows about energy issues. She knows about health issues. So we started telling her how we saw them all connected to food. And it didn't take her long to get it. And from then on, we just started crafting the Illinois Food, Farms, and Jobs Act.
Well, a regional food network that I envision for Chicago will allow the farmers in Illinois to be growing all of the food and produce and meat that Illinois food consumers are eating. And there's really no reason why we aren't doing that. That will require farmers to transition from growing corn and soybeans to growing local food. That will require young people to go out and get back on the land, which will take the young people back out into our rural communities. It will require the infrastructure of processing, distribution, and storage that's necessary to take it efficiently from the farmer up to the consumer. It will require an expanded market of farmers markets, roadside stands, new and existing grocery stores, any other types of retail outlets that will distribute the food to the consumers.
A local food system will help to revitalize rural as well as urban communities.
That's part of the vision, that everybody has access to fresh, healthy food.
A local food system will increase the nutrient content and the flavor of the foods that we eat.
A regional network provides visibility of food growing to everybody, whether they're actually doing the growing or not, but at least they can see somebody growing food, and then they will have a relation to that, and they will understand it doesn't come off an assembly line, it doesn't come wrapped in plastic, and it is a living thing.
The quintessential local example is the Talking Farm.
We looked around for land, not thinking that we would be able to find 2 or 3 acres of vacant land in an urban area, but we wanted it to be a big project, not just a community garden. We wanted to grow as much food as possible for sale to the general public. We looked at maps, we drove around the city of Evanston, and lo and behold, on this land along the North Shore Channel, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District's map says vacant. And we came out here about 4 o'clock one evening. We see this access road and we walk down it and we enter this field that's surrounded by trees. It felt like a farm the minute we saw it. We want this to be a community center where people can come to learn about growing, to learn about preserving and canning. We hope to have a certified kitchen and community space, classroom space. We think this could set a precedent for the metropolitan area. Even if we can't feed everybody from this 2 or 3 acres, it will provide educational opportunities and awareness for everybody that, when they go to the farmers market, they will respect what the farmers do.
The future of Illinois food is in our hands.